Ooh, we're
Hello,
live.
we're live. It says you're live when you go live on YouTube. It's really fun.
So cool. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about is right now the best time to buy a house.
Is it?
What do you think?
So looking at asset prices, because I keep my kind of pulse on where things are selling asset-wise. And I've noticed that a lot of the assets that I've been selling are going out of the country, and they are definitely dropping. But at the same time, I am still buying assets. I'm just moving, certain assets away and obtaining other assets. And I look at that as the same thing with real estate. But I want to hear your insight on that question.
Well, we have some metrics that are saying the median home price is falling in Southern California. Some people are saying these prices are dropping. I'm not really seeing that in Ventura, but what I am seeing is that there's a very strong, healthy market for first-time home buyers. So that $600,000 to $850,000 range, $600,000 to $850,000 range, that's still very strong, very steady. Now, the higher priced homes, they're steady as far as their price. I'm not seeing them come down a ton in price, but I am seeing them, they're staying on the market just a little bit longer. So when I see people saying that the median price is coming down, I do think that's because there's still a strong, healthy market for those $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes, and so those are selling quite a bit. We're not seeing the top end move as much or as frequently. They're sometimes sitting a little bit longer, and I think that's where the opportunity is. If you can do a step up house, if you have enough equity in your current house and you could buy something more, you have a nice job, you can afford that extra payment, this might be the time to buy that $1 million to $2 million price range house. You might get lucky, you might get a good deal.
I'm always in the mind frame of it's always a great time to buy.
Yes.
And it's a question of when to sell, if ever to sell. And that really comes from, my mentors, one of them, being David Baker and other people. But let me explain it to you this way. So I would personally, if I was somebody that didn't know what I know, I would ask this question. I would ask realtors like Natalie, when did you buy recently? And have you bought recently? Well, that's my question. Have you?
We bought in December.
Okay, so you recently bought. See, that kind of tells me a lot of stuff. It's one thing for, a realtor to get out in front of, a live stream and say, this is when's
it's a great time to buy.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, that's always a question that I ask, professionals is what are you investing in? What are you doing? I mean, you've heard me on the phone, with people that are moving around millions of dollars, and they're like, okay, I'm putting it into this, and that's the question I would have anybody ask, people around them is what are you doing?
Right. So last year there was such a hot real estate market. It was just a fever pitch. Everybody was buying. Everybody was putting in offers, multiple offers. We put up one house and we thought, well, we're on the higher end of the price range, but I think the market is strong. We received 16, 18 offers well above asking. And that just blows you away as an agent. This year is not that market. And I think when we were in that market, money was cheap. And so any savvy investor said, I can buy it for this price, maybe a little bit more, but that mortgage payment is so cheap, I'm just going to buy it. So we had a lot of cash, in the market. We had a lot of people that were getting cheap money. So they were buying up things. And so if you were the average first-time home buyer, you had no chance. If you were putting 3% down and you were trying to get a loan and trying to purchase a place, no sellers wanted to look at your offer when they were side by side with an all cash, quick close offer. This now, what we're seeing this spring, lot less investors because those mortgage payments are higher. Money is not as cheap to get right now. So if you are buying for yourself and for your family, this is a good opportunity for you. But again, if you're that step up, if you're in that little bit higher price range, things are stalling out a little bit more. So this is, I kind of think, where that opportunity is.
You bring up a really good point. You know, a lot of investors that I talk to are saying, you know, as the term goes, pencils down, we're going to wait and see. And yes, and I do agree with you.
A little morning coffee.
Morning coffee cough. I do agree with you. I think that there are, you know, certain places out there that you can buy as a first-time home buyer, and you really don't have that opportunity possibly coming down the road. Okay, what I mean by that is there were certain loan programs like California Dream that came up and then just got sold out. Now, will there be a opportunity down the road? Maybe, you know, maybe not. We don't know, you know. So in those situations, you need to jump in, you know, get your feet wet, and if you can make it happen, you know, keep making it happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, talking about, like, you know, when dealing with selling off assets and accumulating other assets that make more sense, look, people are constantly sending me offers, you know, constantly saying, you know, I'll give you this for what you're selling. And I say, make the offer. I mean, sometimes I don't even get stuck in my thinking and going, okay, well, it cost me this when I originally purchased it, and this person is offering, you know, 20% more than what I did, but I really was going for 30% or 40%.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I say, okay, fine, you know, let's do a deal. Boom, moving on to the next thing. So I would say make that offer. You know, if you're talking about like $1 million house, make that offer for 800. Make that offer for 20% less, or 10% or 15, wherever you're at. So for me, it's always, if it makes sense, then always go for it. I'm not a big, you know, pencils up guy. I'm just not, because I see the opportunity when everybody's going, I'm going to wait and see. Right. Because those same people that are going to wait and see when the interest rates come down, or if they're buying cash, or they just see that, you know, there's blood in the water, there's a lot of, you know, properties that are up for sale. Those are the same people that I am now going to be competing against. Right. And what happens is a lot of the time they'll have, you know, more cash than I do, or they'll have more access to cash than I do, or whatever the story is. And I'll just get beat out. So then you get into this whole, you know, bidding war situation and the, you know, that whole side of things. So I would say make the offer. And if there's a right time to buy, it's always, you know, if somebody's going to offer you, like, for example, $1 million house for $500,000, buy the gosh darn thing. Yeah. Because you could sell it the next day and make, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's just, to me, that's where that thinking comes from.
Don't be afraid of the ask right now. And if you're a seller, don't get greedy. Okay, yeah. This is not the time for you to be holding out for a no contingencies, all cash offer. This is the time for you to be making deals. Pick an agent that's a really good negotiator, and pick an agent that's really good at marketing. You want somebody that is going to throw the net very wide for your home, showcase it in the best light possible. I mean, these are the times when you're talking about, you know, painting the front of your house. Maybe you don't paint the whole thing, but maybe you paint the front so there's more curb appeal. This is the time to plant a couple plants in the front. This is the time to maybe stage it with slightly different furniture. This is the time to put all of your stuff in storage so that it can look like a vacant house and you can have a showing at any time. This is what matters right now in this market when you have a higher priced home.
Great point. Yeah, great point. And I love that statement. You know, my dad actually said that to me, and it completely, like, just changed my whole way of thinking, is don't get greedy. I mean, even now, when, I'll give you an example, like I'll sell my scooter, my little, you know, Honda Spree scooter. Look, I know what I paid for that. And a lot of the time, it's just the money doesn't matter to me. Right. You know, and that as a seller, sometimes, you get in your way and you're like, no, I've got to do this and I've got to sell it for that. And I'm just like, what? 10%? That's fine.
Right.
15%? That's fine.
Right.
Or there's so much benefit. Here's one that like I keep trying to tell people is there is so much benefit for me, being, at the age that I'm at to sell it to somebody that really is going to appreciate it. And even if I made no money, even if I lost money and watched them use it every day and just appreciate it. I mean, that sometimes is going to pay well more than any dollar amount.
Right.
And that's really kind of where that comes from is I don't think that people realize the benefit of feeling good about, a deal. And it's not always about money.
Yeah.
It really isn't about, and that's where people kind of get caught up and there's like, well, I sold my place to a family that like loves it. And I drive by every once in a while and I see the kids playing out in the yard. And that was me when I was a little kid. Like
it's the whole gift. Is it better to receive or give? Sometimes it is better to give.
If you can give, it's always better to give. And when I say if, like, people sometimes are in such a, financial, tight point in their life where they have to sell their house and they have to pay off, the loan that's against it, and that of course, you want to be frugal and right in understanding that business side. But going back to the thing, that's my point of view is it's always good to buy even in this market but do the ask and also do the where you're at. If you're at a situation where you just lost your job, well, maybe it's, you got to rethink it, and say, I'm going to step back and all that money that I was saving to buy a house, I'm going to now look for another job. I'm going to figure out maybe how to redefine myself. And maybe it's to move somewhere else, and I'm going to wait, and that's so funny about the whole moving forward is, it's just moving. It's a good thing sometimes. And sometimes like moving even backwards, just move.
Yeah.
Change your perspective sometimes, but I don't know, that's getting a little bit down a different road, but, no, I really think there's always opportunities in, when, like we're talking about investors step out of the market, then, first time home buyers can, step up and get it. And that's happened to you in the last couple of months. You have 2 first home buyers.
Yep.
One closed escrow, last week, and now you're closing escrow pretty soon on this other one. And I'm excited to see them both get into their place, and I can't wait till they get settled down.
I'm so excited for both of them. If you are, I don't want to say that it's a bad time to buy for anybody. If you are a first-time home buyer, the market is going to be a little bit more competitive. It's not as competitive as last year. And just hang in there. The one clients, I've been talking to them on and off for 3 years while we prepare for this moment for them to actually go ahead and purchase. The other clients, I've been talking to them for 6 months, showing them homes actively for 6 whole months. And they hung in there. Even though we got beat out on a couple of offers, they really knew that this is what they were wanting to do. They focused, and we were able to get it done. So don't be discouraged. Our friend, Greg Abrams, who is a mortgage officer, he's actually holding a class next week on May 4th about step-up home purchases. So if you currently are in a home and you're going to go and buy the next home, how this is different, what tactics you can use in order to move to the next house. So if you're interested in that, I'll probably link the event link below. And if you have questions, just write them in the comments. We would love to hear from you and discuss with you. I am Natalie Oman from Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, California Properties, DRE 0208-5495. And you are?
I'm Johnny, the other half.
The other half, my investing team partner. So anyway, good to see you all, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.